This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Well, the dogs have packed up and left. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Nope. Not sure where they are. I think they moved the mat that was down there. I think it's over by the window. It's pretty funny. Well, how the hell's everybody doing? So tonight's just a regular old night, everybody, just like old times. And now we got the goal. That's the same goal that I've always had at the top of the screen for the night show. And you know, that's just the numbers to be able to do what we do all the time. And now you see it up there. So hopefully you guys can look at the goal, and people that can help support the channel can help support the channel. Huh? I'm not even sure what you're referring to, AS. But anyways, we got cases to cover tonight, so yeah. Yeah, to putting in emojis of foots and soccer goals and everything, that doesn't help get to the goal. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah, well, is there any updates on that one? Yeah, but we're not talking about that one right now, but was there any updates on that? I mean, it's pretty obvious what happened. They just haven't been able to solve it, right? Yeah. Heard of what case? Anyways, let's get going there, right? Already have an air of frustration. This is the picture of Lori Daybell. Hey, it looks like somebody that Travis Alexander would have liked. Ironically, similar religious beliefs. But there you go. You've got the pigtails, and boy, she's going to be a hit in jail there. Other than the fact that now her face looks like she's the Folgers man from 1970. Where the hell is that? I gotta go find that now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, I don't remember, man. Remember the face that used to be on those cans, though? It looked just like that. Anyways. So there's that. Then we also have Sarita, one of the moderators. She got her own license plate, but they were out of the A, so she put an 8 in there. But freak, right? So there you go. Pretty sweet, huh? It's awesome. Okay, there's a missing person named Madelyn Pitts out there. There's very little information, but maybe somebody out there will be watching and recognizes her. The Prince William County Police Department is requesting the public's assistance in locating a 27-year-old female, Madelyn Pitts, who was last seen in Woodbridge, VA on April 24th, so, yeah, it's over 3 weeks ago, or about 3 weeks ago. She was last seen wearing dark blue scrub pants, black hood coat, and black boots. She has a nose piercing. Her family and friends are concerned for her well-being. If you have any information on her whereabouts, contact Prince William County Police Department at 703-792-6500. That's the same one there. And then on Facebook, it sounds like she was at home and had an argument with their mother and then took off, you know. But a lot of times when people say an argument, it's usually something a little greater than that. Oh wow, my Amazon's listening to me. My niece Maddie has been missing since April 24th. She was last seen leaving her home in Woodbridge, Virginia on April 24th. Note the family recently relocated to the area, hence their familiarity, connections, etc. are limited. Well, it wouldn't. Well, if you. Oh wait, relocate. Okay, this smart, beautiful, educated black woman is deeply loved by our family and missed. We are praying for her safe return. If you have any information regarding Madelyn's whereabouts, please call Master Detective Cordero at 571-722-6078 or call 911. And Sabina Turner is the aunt and godmother. So, anyways, you guys, right now we're at 0 on the stream goal. That'd be great to get going on it early in the show so that we have some momentum going forward. So thank you very much for considering. And right now, at the beginning of the show today, I was going to send in donations to various charities, and if you'd like to help out, that'd be great. I'm just going to do it from the income from the channel, and that's what I do. Alright, so we talked about it last night. I'm going to do it today in honor of Mother's Day from yesterday. Yeah. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is rain. And by the way, in this case here, if you have any, you know, I mean, that's all I've got. There isn't really any more information on it. Okay, but that's what she looks like. And I gave you the phone numbers. They're on the screen right there, too, so you can check that out.
Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave.
Thank you, Traveling Teresa. And Robin. Yeah, and I do the other show earlier today so that I could, so we can, you know, like in a way, an attempt to increase the income on the channel so that I can donate more and make more money for the channel. You know, that's why I'm doing the earlier show. Now, if it's really just spreading out, then it's not really, then it's not worth the time. You get what I'm saying? It's like, okay, now I'm going to work 9 hours for the same thing. All right, thanks, Lori Akers. Okay, so here we go.
Mini wave.
And this is what the result of all you guys helping out is right here. Okay, so
I'll be back if you want me to.
right now I'm going to donate $1,000 to RAIN, which is violence against women. Okay, so I might have to leave the screen, but you'll be able to see. Okay, 1,000. Yeah, one time, 1,000. Okay, now, like, I'll just do it. Alright, so I gotta hit PayPal over here. I don't want you to see the sign on, but you'll get to see the receipt. Thanks, Circa then. Okay, boom. Should be good. See, they make it really easy over there. It's not difficult. Okay, so here's the receipt that says, thank you for supporting RAIN. Looks like I gave 1,032, so I covered their processing. 1,032.70. Alright. Then also we go over to the email right here, and there's the one from Scott at Rain, who says, you know, thank you. There it is right there, 1,032 on 5/15/2023. So it actually happened, everybody. It's weird. It's so weird. It's absolutely crazy. So there you go. Thank you, Junipers, Terra, and Magic, and Circa Then. And then we'll also do the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. There you go. So for any mothers out there that have missing children that they're looking for. There's that. And okay, I have to fill all this crap out. So that's PayPal again. So we did Rain first, right? Okay, then we just did Knickknack, but sometimes theirs takes a minute to get into the email. Oh, there it is right there. So, yeah, there it is. So right there, May 15th, 2023, 500 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Alright, so that's 1,500 right then. So if you guys want to, let's see, what would I do? So I guess what we could do at the end, if you, we'll do $1 for dollar at the end of the show, whatever the dollar amount is that I bring in on tonight's show, even without having the, what do you call it? Even without having the 30%, whatever the actual number is on the screen, like the number that we get on the goal there, I'll actually send in that amount of money. So that means I'll even be minus 30% and the taxes and everything. So there you go. That work? And that'll be sent into Texas EquiSearch for families looking. You know, there may be mothers out there that are looking for their children, and Texas EquiSearch is out there looking for them. Okay, so it's up to you guys. But yeah, so we've already given $1,500, and then whatever the total amount for the goal on the screen up there is for the show, I'll send in that exact amount, regardless of the 30% and the taxes that I pay. Which is like if you, I mean, that's, you know, almost half, really. So thank you. Hey, thanks, Lisa L. And we got to go over here to change the numbers for now, anyways. So right now it's I'm just gonna forget about that. That $32 is kind of it's bugging me. I mean, so I like even numbers. So 21,500. Then also I mean, don't all jump in at once, everybody. Let's, you know. Let's see. So right now we've got rain is now 3,500 for the year. Knickknack is 3,000, and there we go. I think we've got it. Everything, right? Does that go over there? Oh yeah, and then the totals. Grand total is now, so 500 of that would be 250, so 48, 250. Right, so since January 2020, because of you guys, the freaks, and then I donate out of the income, $148,250. All right, find somebody else doing that. Thank you. Good grief. Yeah. All right, so thank you, Your Gypsy, and Juniper Tarot Magic, and Danielle, and Lisa. Thank you. So I don't know if you heard what I said, but whatever the stream goal is at the end of the show, I'll donate that exact amount of money to Texas Equisearch, right? And it's actually, I don't know what it is, but that doesn't seem to have caught up with that last 20 in there. But okay, you guys ready? I'm going to go on to the cases now. Yeah, it's awesome. It's up to you guys, though, to make a number that will be sort of worthy. You know what I mean? Thought there'd be a little bit more excitement for that, but apparently just kind of went. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to start off with this woman named Ylva Hagner. She's Swedish. This is back in 1996. Might be some developments. I looked up how to pronounce her name, so aren't you guys impressed that I said Ylva Hagner? Yeah, there must be something going on right now because there's only 173 people watching, which is just. Where is this? Or they're just not interested in anything other than the big ones that are in the news. Hey, thanks, Wendy Johnson. Well, I'm able to be one because of you guys. I mean, you guys are what allow me to be able to give. There's a lot of people that wouldn't give, but, you know, we do.
Thank you, Ray, for being a philanthropist. Your support makes a difference and betters the lives of others.
Yeah. And it's sort of like the bulk, you know, there's like so many people supporting the channel that the amount that we can donate is bigger than like somebody individually likely could ever do, right? Like it just, it's kind of the way it is. My YouTube channel just got copyright strike for making a oil for my candles during the waning moon. Nah, I don't agree. I don't believe you on that. There's something more to it. That doesn't happen. Let's see. You have to do something pretty, like use somebody's content or something like that. They don't give you a copyright strike for just making oil for candles. Yeah, I'd have to see what you're talking about to even come close to believing what you just wrote up there. Yeah, that'd be really ridiculous, something like that. And if it's really true, some weird thing like that, then you have to go fight that, okay? Okay, so there was a missing woman back in 1996 in near the San Francisco area, actually Belmont, California. And it says the car of missing Palo Alto, I guess it was Palo Alto, where she was from, woman has been found abandoned in San Carlos. Now, Ylva Hagner, 42, was last seen at 9:30 p.m. Monday. Her job in an office at maybe we can mark some of this down. I've got her. Yeah, that wasn't the one I was looking at. Oops. Ylva Hagner. Actually, let me put that back in. Ah, shit. Doesn't work. Yeah, so her office was at 1070 6th Avenue, Belmont, California. So I guess you worked here. Ah. Man. Hagner 1992 Honda Civic, which was also missing, was found Friday morning parked on Spring Street. Good, so we can say where her car was found. Here we go. Spring Street. And El Camino Real. Yeah, so right here. Probably right in this parking area, I would imagine. Who knows? Maybe let's just say her car was found here. That looks really close to where she worked. Almost like right when she leaves work, something happened. Or maybe she went to that whatever this building is and something happened. Yeah, it's 1996. Hagner 1992 Honda Civic, which was also missing, was found Friday morning parked on Spring Street just off El Camino Real in San Carlos. Investigators were checking the car for anything that may help police determine what happened to Hagner. FBI joined search. The Federal Bureau of Investigation Monday joined the search for a 42-year-old Palo Alto woman a week after she failed to return home from work, authorities said. A spokesman for the Belmont Police Department said the FBI will assist detectives in interviewing friends and acquaintances of Ylva Hagner and provide sophisticated equipment to process possible evidence found Friday in her abandoned car. Belmont Police Commander Larry Rich would not say what police found in the Honda Civic, but an FBI spokesman, George Grotz, said the agents are equipped to process hair fibers and other items. Hagner, a market manager at Ixo Software in Belmont, was last seen at 9:30 p.m. October 14th at work, where she apparently was the last employee remaining that night. Rich said detectives believe Hagner was driving her car, but they don't know exactly when it was left in San Carlos. A neighbor who heard about the missing car in a newscast reported it to police Friday morning. Police still do not know if Hagner was a victim of foul play or if she voluntarily went somewhere, Rich said. Missing computer executive Ylva Hagner is likely the victim of foul play, according to an affidavit filed in court. Police filed the documents, which are the first official evidence a crime may have been committed. The Swedish woman, 42, was last seen on October 14th working late in her office at Ixo Software in Belmont. San Carlos police detective Mark Robbins last Friday filed a search warrant seeking telephone records. He said a criminal investigation of a suspected felony is being conducted. Hagner's car was found in San Carlos on October 18th, less than a mile from her office and 4 days after she vanished. Family and co-workers of a woman declared missing last month have posted flyers bearing her picture at Belmont supermarkets, hoping to generate leads for stumped investigators. Stig Hagner, father of 42-year-old Ylva Hagner, and fellow co-workers from Ixo Software passed out the flyers over the weekend. Police said Hagner was last seen working in her office at 9:30 p.m. October 14th. Hagner's black 1992 Honda Civic was discovered 3 days later in San Carlos. The ongoing search conducted jointly by the Belmont, San Carlos, and Palo Alto police departments, as well as the FBI, has been aided by an Oakland police helicopter and Contra Costa County Sheriff's bloodhounds. Ixo Software and Hagner's co-workers have offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to Hagner's safe return. That's November 1997. This one is, or 1996, I mean, and then, let's see, was that this one that I just did? Oops, God, there we go again. Okay, so this one was March of 1997. Then October of 97, Belmont police used psychic. Oh boy, here we go. In the year since Belmont computer executive Ylva Hagner mysteriously vanished, police have used bloodhounds, helicopters, thermal imaging devices, and lie detector tests. And now, with more legitimate leads apparently exhausted, Belmont officials are calling on psychics, up to 20 of whom have contacted police over the past year claiming to have information on Hagner's whereabouts. The red-haired Palo Alto resident, whose 43rd birthday was August 4th, was last seen October 14th, 1996, working late at Ixo Software on 6th Street in Belmont. In the diminishing search for Hagner, psychics are now leading police to places they envision she might be, including around Stanford University and San Jose junk heaps. Belmont Police Commander Larry Ritchie acknowledged the controversial nature of the psychic work, but said police are only following plausible leads. Right. I'm calling it a memorial, but it's a little strange to do a memorial for someone who's a missing person, said Hagner's friend Marshall Byrne, a San Carlos computer scientist. I think everyone feels she's gone forever, but you don't want to jinx things. No one would have thought it to have a memorial in the first month, because that's like giving up. But now at the year, it's more of an appropriate thing to do. Stig Hagner, Ylva's father, will miss the memorial but will return to the Bay Area next month. His missing daughter has been replaced at Ixo Software, which has moved from Belmont to Foster City. The company has maintained her health benefits and life insurance. I think that's where, okay. She's still considered an employee on leave, said Ann Way, Hagner's former supervisor. If she's ever found and needs counseling or medical attention, that will be available. Amid speculation over whether Hagner is alive or dead, a myriad of Bay Area agencies have lent muscle to the search. Oakland police sources Oakland police scoured the peninsula in helicopters. The South County Fire Department checked from storm drains from Twin Pines Park in Belmont.
This was huge news
The
for
FBI
town of
conducted
Belmont at the
forensic
time.
tests.
Huge story for this small college town.
Oh yeah, cool. And by the way, the one caveat to my deal that I made is we got to reach the goal, and anything over that, I'll do the entire amount of what it says up on there. Okay, but if it doesn't reach the goal, then it is what it is. Okay, shouldn't be hard for this many people. Yeah. All right, Brendan. Yeah, Brendan. Okay. Well, why don't you go deal with your own self, okay? Sorry. Have a good one. No, I mean, here's the thing: is I do feel like when I do these shows, I feel like, I mean, I don't know. If you were somebody that was doing shows for people every single night, wouldn't you feel like you sort of deserve to have compensation to do the shows, or you just sort of do them? You know, we're just all doing them. Yeah. All right. Good job, mods, for leaving that one up there. That was good. That was good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just, yeah, you know, I don't know. Here's the thing. I think people are selfish who think I'm selfish for asking, okay? Because it's like I literally spend 9-10 hours a day trying to get all the stuff together, and I try to bring in funds to help a lot of other people out there and help my own channel out. I don't feel bad asking. I hate asking. I feel like just putting up the stream goal should be enough for people to go, oh, okay, cool, that's what it takes. Okay, great. Because YouTube takes 30%, and then I give away half of that, and I'm always going to give away half because I want to, okay? So, you know, I don't know what to tell you guys, but it just is what it is. I mean, you don't go to work every day and think, well, let me hope my boss does something, you know? So that's what you guys are. So whenever it's a night where you guys are like, yeah, forget it, man, I'm just going to watch the whole thing and forget it, it makes me feel like that's what your thought was, is like, oh, well, great, you know, screw you we'll watch, but, you know. I don't know, man. I don't really know any way. It's hard to look at it something different. I mean, I know there's people that don't have funds, and I don't really mind because I've been there myself, you know. But I'm trying to do something. Yeah, I mean, if I've donated $148,000, I'm sure I've made that amount too. But I mean, who gives half of their money away? I guarantee it. There's other channels that make way more than I do on ad revenue and super chats on their live shows, and they don't give a nickel to a soul. Now, when I say it, and you know, this is what I hate right here, is this conversation. But what happens is these idiots show up, and they type stuff in, and then people go, yeah. Okay, well, screw it. You know, screw you for believing it if you're one of those. God, it just fucking sucks. In March, the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office led 2 teams of rescue dogs to a remote wooded site off Page Mill Road in Palo Alto Hills, where one of Hagner's friends once lived. The now vacant home is adjacent to her favorite hiking spot. So where is that saying that is? Page Mill Road. Okay. Although the search didn't solve the mystery, Palo Alto Police Detective Jim Kaufman said the behavior of the cadaver dogs convinced search teams to remain for 4 days. We were up there for a reason, Kaufman said. I do take those into account, Zozo. It's barely any part of anything.
You do not
I mean,
only
why are
learn
you telling me what to do again on here? I don't really understand the memberships. Everybody always chooses the lowest one. There's 1/10 of the people are on the higher one, and so it's really a minor part of the income in the month. It's usually like 20% or something. It's nothing. If that's what you're saying. I mean, I don't go, talk about your work and, what the numbers mean and what you got to look at and all that shit. I know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. So tonight we've already given away $1,500. If whatever we get to, if it goes over the goal, I'll definitely send in that amount of money to Texas EquiSearch. If we get to 1,000, I'll send 1,000. If we get to 500, I'll send 500. If we get to $299, nothing. It's just weird. It sucks to even have to, like this. Here's what it'd be great if I had 1,000 members at the $9.99 level. Then I wouldn't care at all, and any super chats would just sort of be a bonus, and I'd be probably donating at least $3,000 a month. Anyways, okay, so that's what it would be. It would be great if the memberships were all the larger amount, and then it would also be like less pressure on everybody. But people don't do that. They do the lowest one, and then there's sort of a struggle. Hey, thanks, Travelin' Teresa and Juniper's Tarot and Magic. Yeah, I mean, I think we make a huge difference out there, And I just kind of feel like, you got 300 people watching. It should be sort of easy, Or even if there's 200 sometimes, Oh, thanks, Travelin' Teresa. And here we go with the avocado dance. So it was cool, like we had the Sarita has the license plate, and
families HISNT toxic like some in the true crime community can be extremely harmful to the victims and case. Your awesome grey, blue heart, folded hands.
Well, thanks. It'd be cool to be, thought of like that. All right, where are we at here? So 2001, there was an article. It was just kind of like a bigger article on cyber gumshoes use net. This is right when the internet was started. Became sort of big, and then people were using it to look stuff up. And it says virtually every major police department and many smaller ones have their own missing person sites on the internet. This is 2001. The Belmont Police Department, for instance, highlights the October 14th, 1996 disappearance of Ylva Hagner, 42, a product manager at Palo Alto Software Company and a Stanford University graduate student. Her car was found abandoned near a small motel a few days later, but she's never heard from since. And that website probably doesn't even work anymore. Thank you, Gloria Batari. Yeah, I gotta get these in here. Hold on. Travelin' Teresa. I think I got most of you in there, I think. Well, thanks, Lane S. Yeah, I mean, that would be a huge thing. But the memberships, which are cool, I mean, I don't know, I was actually thinking of, I don't know if this is something you can do, but maybe with like Megazoids, we could listen to a crime book like an hour at a time or something. You know, that may be kind of cool. I mean, you know, maybe you guys go out and buy the book yourself too. But we could listen to it. Like I just bought the one from Ann Rule on that case we did last night, and I got stuck in traffic, and I listened to it on my Audibles. And I actually have, it's so cool, I bought this device for my, okay, what the hell happened here? Jesus. A second. Yeah, man. There's this, well, let me show it to you. Yeah, this thing right here. See, it's got the XLR, you know, like boom, you plug it into your mixer. But this is an actual device called Galaxy Audio JIB BT4R. You plug it into my mixer, and it has a Bluetooth.
Power on.
What the hell was that? Hold on.
Device is connected.
Well, there you go. So you plug it in, and you know, you get everything turned on and everything, and it takes your cell phone Bluetooth audio and plays it right on the mixer. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? You just have to connect your Bluetooth to it. Thank you, Renee H. That make any sense? Yeah, so here, let me go. Let's test it out really quick. Where's my phone? Oh, there it is. Let me see if it works.
Me 4 or 5 times. He wanted people to think he was
Can
important.
you hear that? Pretty good.
There was one thing Jerry Brudos never discussed with the men of the plant. That was women. He presented himself as a solid family man, and he never participated in the sometimes ribald conversations of his fellow workers.
Is that
He
good?
didn't drink, and he didn't smoke. And his employer was sorry to lose him when he left.
That's awesome.
He
Look at
came
that.
back to visit after a year or so.
How cool is that, huh? Jeez. Man, they make such an amazing little weird device. Hey, Mag, how's it going? Thank you. And looks like are you doing better? I mean, we were all doing some positive vibes for you. Yeah, so maybe we could do something where, you know, you guys, if you have Audible on Amazon, you go buy the book at the same time, and, you know, we can all sort of listen to it together or something. I don't know. Maybe Megazoids and higher. Yeah, or there isn't any higher, but I guess that's what it is. It's the Ann Rule, the Brudos case. The one we did last night, she goes over the whole thing. It's like 7 hours long. I got stuck in traffic, and I listened to about 40 minutes of it. There was a accident on Highway 26 that shut down all the lanes. And what a nightmare that was. But it finally broke up, and there it is. I don't think it's called Bloodlust. That's not. I don't think that's the right name. It's called Lust Killer. All right, so it's called the Lust Killer, and it's Ann Rule, and you know, it's pretty cool. Looks pretty good. So I'm already listening to it. I'm on chapter 3. But it'd be kind of, I think it'd be fun to do that, don't you think? Do like an hour a day with the Megazoids. Just listen to it, but maybe you guys go get it yourself so you can listen to it. You know, it's like a help sell their book at the same time. Well, it's good to see you in here. Doing better, just always tired. Yeah, I was starting to, I felt tired. I don't know what it was. It was just kind of randomly felt really tired yesterday. I don't know. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so let's do the, I got more to go on this one. Oh, well, that was the last article in 2001. Then 2023 on 5/12 here. Let me move the screen. It says right here, hunt is on. New twist in Ylva Hagner case after cops search home of NASA computer scientist boyfriend. See, doesn't it seem like, wow, you're at work and you're there late?
Sky 7 flying over this home on Farm Hill Boulevard in Redwood City Wednesday.
Yeah, let's see that. What'd they say? Farm Hill Boulevard? Farm Hill Boulevard, Redwood City. Oops, jeez. So that's Redwood City. And then Farm Hill. Must be way. Is that right? No. What do they call that?
Shows investigators removing bricks from a patio over a section in the backyard.
We've recently started looking back into it, and that's what brought us out here into Redwood City today.
At the home, investigators used a radar to scan a section of the backyard. Shortly after, they started bringing shovels and other digging equipment to that site.
So there she is. Belmont police were seen leaving the house of missing Ylva Hagner's boyfriend with nearly a dozen evidence bags in Redwood City, California. That sounds like they're pretty serious here. This comes as the FBI and San Mateo County Sheriff's Office also searched the Farm Hill Boulevard home belonging to Thomas Pressburger. Well, there you go. Let's let me just look that up. Hold on. Yeah, I like to go back and start at the beginning. So let's see, it's Thomas. That's got to be only one. I mean, that Pressburger. Gee, that's not too many of those. I bet there's only one. Yeah, there it is in Redwood City. Yep. And here it is. This is this house. So here we go. I'm going to put that in. And this might, I wonder if he still lives there, or this is the house he lived at before. Thomas Pressburger. I think it's interesting that they gave his name out, because that means it's probably a little higher level of certainty that his name is out there. So it looks like, what are we looking at? Oh, that's interesting. So these bricks here, where are the, let me see if I can find where they're looking at that house. Off to the side first. Oh, there it is. Okay, right there. Okay, so I think they're looking right in this area, in those bricks. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, just look at it like that, and then watch this. Look at that. Hey, we're looking at the same exact picture. So let's take a look and see if there's any way to go back in time and see when there may not have been bricks there. It's back here. Yeah, a lot of times these satellite moves are, they move around quite a bit when you're. I'm just gonna go way back to 1991. Yeah, so I would imagine that it was probably around 1996 when bricks were put in there and they're checking there. You know, maybe somebody remembers, oh yeah, he did some construction right after that, and now they're putting those pieces together. Okay, well, we'll probably get through that when we read the article, right, Matthew? Police say the search is in connection to the reopened investigation into Ylva Hagner, a 42-year-old woman who went missing in October 1996. Lieutenant Pete Lodi of Belmont Police said small town like Belmont missing person case is near and dear to our hearts. So we're looking back into that. That's what brought us to Redwood City today. The investigation was refocused, and we're here today to try to bring closure to the case. Investigators were looking at a brick patio in the backyard of the home and remove the bricks and use a robot to scan the ground. They spent Wednesday digging sections of the backyard and brought in, I think it meant to be brought in search dogs. It remains unclear what evidence the police have taken and if anything has been found in relation to the case. Here we go again. Damn windows. So let's see if this one looks a little bit more in depth here. When Ylva vanished without a trace. So this is done May 13th, just 2 days ago. On the 25th of September 1996, the 5th class of the Master of Liberal Arts program met in History Building on the main quad of Stanford University. We were disparate. Hey, thanks, Gwendolyn B. We were a disparate group. There was a physician, a librarian, a biology teacher, and a few stay-at-home moms.
Thanks again for the show.
Well, do well on the homework. Oh, looks like Gwendolyn B is the super freak. Now, let's see. The introductory class for the program was for a number of years the Plague, an introduction to interdisciplinary graduate study taught by Dr. Linda Paulson. While it might seem like a strange and unusual topic, the study of the plague in many forms, places, and eras lend itself well to the theme of interdisciplinary study. I wonder when they're going to get to this. In addition to the many books written on the subject, the class syllabus, where is she at? As we went around the room that night, introducing ourselves, our nervousness was apparent, except for one person who could barely contain her enthusiasm. Her name was Ylva Hagner. In her early 40s, with gorgeous red hair and blue eyes, Ylva was Swedish, lived in Palo Alto, and worked at a software company in Belmont. She had a lilting laugh and was clearly enjoying herself. In the third week of class, Ylva was absent. She had last been seen just before our class at her office. The weeks went by, and it was clear that something terrible had happened. Like many missing person cases, there was an initial flurry of interest in finding her, and then lapsed into a cold case. Our class moved on, with most of us finishing the program in 4 or 5 years. Ylva's disappearance case cast a pall upon our Stanford experience, even though we got to spend a little time with her. Over the years, we met at social gatherings or continuing study classes. The question often arose, how could someone just disappear without a trace? I mean, we covered so many cases that are like that. Just September 2021 marked 25 years since that first class, and I found myself thinking more and more about Ylva. Recent developments in DNA technology had brought closure to several highly publicized murder cases that occurred near or on campus. Let's see. Will we be around if and when Ylva's case is solved? The plague class brilliantly illustrated the many facets of a sweeping pandemic. We laughed at the something or other. Let me see down there. We learned all these things. Does it keep going? I thought they were going to... This was about this. Let's see. Missing Paul surfaces, authority search. Okay. Well, there you go. There. That's right in front of the house there with the tent. Sounds like she was a really cool person, though. So, FBI crime scene investigators, along with local law enforcement on Wednesday, May 10th, were searching the backyard of a Redwood home for evidence in connection to the 1996 disappearance. And you know what? And the thing is, if you're somebody that owns a house like that, and you have a brick patio like that, you probably want to stay there forever. Because if you ever sell the house, somebody might go, hey, let's turn this into something else. And they start digging around back there, and then boom. So you want to control that the best you can. I know, it's a brick patio, Daryl. Yeah. The Belmont Police Department and other local agencies closed off Stolsaft Park to the public in addition to the home on the 3700 block of Farm Hill Boulevard. It's unclear how the park and the home are connected. So let's see where that is. Farm Hill Boulevard. Right now we're on the Ylva Hagner case. Okay? So it's called Farm... That's not what I was looking for. Stolsaft Park. Yeah, it's okay. Well, it's just a patio. You can see them digging it. We showed you in the first picture. Watch. Watch the video here, guys.
Sky 7 flying over this home on Farm Hill.
I don't know if it could be any clearer than that. It's
Boulevard in Redwood
there's
City.
Bricks there. They're moving the bricks away.
Investigators removing bricks from a patio over a section in the backyard.
We've recently started looking back into it, and that's what...
The Belmont Police Department and other local agencies closed off Stolsaft Park, so I want to go to that. So that's just right over here then. Okay, so he just lived right there, and then maybe the park goes all the way back here, so they're probably checking to see if maybe there's a burial spot in the park. Right there. Police say the search is in connection to the reopened investigation into the Ylva Hagner 42. I think that's that other article. Where was the one we were just on? Oh yeah, over here. Hold on. So the Belmont Police Department and other local agencies closed off Stolsaft Park to the public in addition to the home on the 3700 block of Farm Hill Boulevard. It's unclear how the park and the home are connected. Hagner went missing on Monday, October 14th, 1996, and was reported missing to the Palo Alto police 2 days later by concerned co-workers after she did not show up to work, according to a 1997 Palo Alto weekly report. Hagner was 42 years old at the time of her disappearance. Multiple missing persons reports state that Hagner lived in Palo Alto and attended Stanford University at the time of her disappearance. According to her family, Hagner had been stalked by a male acquaintance before her disappearance. A missing person report said she worked at a business marketing manager for a German-American software company called Ixos. Hagner's vehicle was found in San Carlos, unlocked, with her keys in the ignition. That means somebody just dumped it there and got out of the car and left. 6 blocks from her work, and that was just 6 blocks from her work. Days after she was last seen in her office in Belmont on October 1996. So it was found 6 blocks from her work, just days after she went missing. Authorities said in multiple missing person reports that Hagner's purse was missing and there was no sign of a struggle in the car. Shortly after 10 a.m. on Wednesday, crime scene investigators were seen bringing out multiple shovels, buckets, and other tools in the backyard of the Farm Hill home. The front yard of the home was blocked off by caution tape. Later in the day, investigators could be seen bringing bags of varying sizes from the backyard into the FBI van parked in front of the house as Belmont police stood in front of the house. The FBI told this news organization that it is providing forensic support with its evidence response team. County records show NASA scientist Thomas Pressburger owns the deed to the Farm Hill property where investigators were digging on. I wonder if he just kind of owns it so he can control what goes on there. Maybe he could just live in there too. I mean, I don't know. According to the IEE database, a professional associate for electrical and electronic engineer and the NASA website, Pressburger works in the robust software engineer area. Yeah, let's see. Get a picture of him. Well, maybe that's him right there. FBI police search for evidence remains in 27-year-old cold case disappearance. Yeah, it does say NASA Ames researcher, intellectual systems. So it kind of seems like it'd be kind of odd if that wasn't him. County records show NASA scientist Thomas Pressburger owns the deed. According to a San Francisco Gate article from 1997, Pressburger was Hagner's boyfriend. Yeah, I don't have access to that. I wish that was in the newspapers.com. Boyfriend at the time of her disappearance. Police have not named Pressburger as a suspect in the case. Well, you are now when you're digging in his yard, right? I mean, Farm Hill Neighborhood Association President Johanna Rasmussen said the people who have lived in the home have lived there since Hagner's disappearance and are not active members of the association. Stolsaf Park, also cordoned off by authorities, is one of the most popular parks in the neighborhood and frequently hosts events including an Easter egg hunt, where children search the park grounds, Rasmussen said. Multiple agencies, including the San Mateo County District Attorney's Office and San Mateo County Sheriff's Department, are assisting in the investigation. The Redwood City Police Department provided traffic assistance on Wednesday. It's unclear what sparked the renewed interest into Hagner's case. Now, that is pretty interesting, right? Because what is it that made them go, ooh, we think he's the guy now, so let's go check here. You know, did he tell somebody randomly at some point and they finally came forward? I bet there's going to be an arrest made in this one. And by the way, you ever seen these things that Barry Morphew, he's out there suing people? Man, I mean, I don't know why they dropped that case. I mean, like, they had such great circumstantial evidence in that one. I don't understand it. I really don't. And he's out there with his kids, and they just seem so oblivious to the reality. Have you guys seen that? This sort of reminds me of that. That's why I'm bringing it up. This one and some of these other ones. it's just unbelievable circumstantial evidence in the Barry Morphew case, and his kids are just sort of, wow, it was just, yeah, we trusted him the whole time. Really? I mean, didn't you, you know, and he's still lying about, like, their relationship. She wanted to leave him. She was seeing somebody else. Okay, it's just unbelievable, really. I'm sort of dumbfounded listening to these people. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, the people there's I don't know. I really don't understand. First of all, I don't know why they dropped that case. Secondly, I mean, I heard why they were saying it, but it still doesn't make sense to me. The circumstantial evidence. You know, maybe they wanted to hold off on it for a while and keep going. I guarantee it, every one of those police officers think he did it. I mean, you can't not think that based on the information that's out there. You just can't. Ah, man, he's just sitting there just going, we had a great relationship, but her chemo made her think differently, and she was just... Well, no, she was actually in a relationship with somebody else and was messaging, and you guys had conversations about not wanting to be together. She didn't want to be with you anymore. And you're denying all of that stuff. Ah, ridiculous, 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 ridiculous. Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool, though, if the daughters actually don't believe their dad, but have been told, hey, we need your help, man. Maybe, someday you can get him to say something. I doubt it. I think they're just people that just don't want to believe. Anyways, what do you guys think? Don't you think that this one will probably have an arrest soon in the Ylva Hagner case? There she is right there. Ylva Hagner. God, I sure hope they just find something in that case. All right. Was last seen. Authorities said Hagner, who lived in Palo Alto. They have Hagner. It's not spelled right in this article that Matthew sent me. A source told station that investigators were looking into the backyard of Hagner's then ex-boyfriend, computer programmer Thomas Pressburger. He did confirm that information, and Pressburger declined to comment when they reached him by phone. The investigation was refocused, and we're here today to try to bring closure to the case. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere that he lived there for the whole time. Alright, so yeah, we got the... Oh, thank you, Lillian out there for the PayPal. Alright, well, guess what? We're switching now over to an old Canadian case that seems to be, has some resolution, but I want to go back over it from the beginning. It seems like it was kind of interesting. All the links are in the description. You can check it out. I think there was a serial killer. This guy, I bet you anything, this guy is probably like a serial killer of some sort, but they just haven't been able to pin any of the other ones. But anyways, here we go. We're now switching over to the case of Sharron Prior with 2 R's. Alright, so here we go. This is in, I think it was in Quebec actually, but here we go. Sharron Prior, a reliable and friendly 16-year-old from Point St. Charles, was still missing this morning, more than 2 days after she left her home at 445 Congressional Street Saturday night. So here's where she lives, way over here. Yeah, I mean, in the Morphew case, by the way, don't you guys remember that they have his phone moving around inside the house at the exact time where, I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. And believe it or not, they have Street View even in Canada. So she lived in one of these, like, you know, it's hard to really make out from the air. Which one of those? Let's see. Yeah, it's just, yeah, well, it could be that one right there, but either one of those, just right there. That's where she lived at the time. I just want my daughter back, the girl's mother, Yvonne Prior, 37, said this morning. She was always so reliable. She went on Saturday nights and was usually home by 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. at the very latest. She always called home if she thought she was going to be late. Prior said her daughter left home to go to the nearby Marina's Pizzeria at the corner of Wellington Street and Ash Avenue to meet friends and boyfriend John McAleer. Here, let's see where that is. The Pizzeria. She was always reliable. She went out Saturday night and was usually home by 11. She was at the corner of Wellington Street and Ash Avenue. No, they don't have Street View everywhere. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, there's even little parts of towns that don't have it. I mean, they try to be in every country, but it's not everywhere. I think this one must be right here. So maybe there was a pizzeria right in this area. It was called Marina's Pizzeria. Let's see. I always think it's amazing when they drive down those crazy side roads. There's a Cheers right there. I wonder if it was that one. It kind of looks like it. Who cares, though? You know, I mean, sure, hey, everybody, there's Street View everywhere, okay? Prior said her daughter left home to go to the nearby Marina Pizzeria at the corner of Wellington Street and Ash Avenue to meet friends and boyfriend John McAleer, or McAleer, I guess, at the restaurant, but never arrived. She went there a lot, the girl's mother said. It was a sort of a hangout for kids at school. I don't think she was planning on running away from home because she left her school bus pass and money behind in her room, and all her friends say they never heard her talk about running away. Anyone who thinks he or she has seen the 5'3", 105-pound, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl is asked to call police. So that was right at the beginning. That was she went missing on, I think it was March 30th, 1974, and then articles started coming out like on the 1st and then 2nd of April here. Yeah, we know, Daniel. We've talked about it 1,000 times in here. Missing girl raped and killed. The badly beaten body of 16-year-old Sharron Prior has been found in a long gill field. I think it's Longa. I don't even know how to pronounce that. It's probably some French. Field, police said today. Police said the girl had been raped before she died. The body was identified by her uncle, who recognized a birthmark on the back of her neck, police said. Sharon, who disappeared Saturday night en route from her home at 445 Congressional Street in Point Street, Charles, to a neighboring pizzeria, was found in a field at a Gammon Boulevard and... Okay, there we go. We can type that in. So this is where she was found. Huh. Well, does that a boulevard exist? Oh, G-U-I-M-O-N-D. If my hands were off on the keyboard, I was over a spot. Okay, and what? Oh my god, you guys, I can't do anything in here. It's crazy. Okay. Okay, what is that? I don't know. This is just the name of that one spot, but I don't know if that's the same road. Let me just eyeball it. Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. This is more likely over here. She lived here. Well, it doesn't seem to exist what they're saying in here. Police said estimated time of death was yesterday afternoon. They believe she was brought to the field after she was beaten. Police found no weapons at the scene and said they have to wait for results of an autopsy to determine what weapon was used. Police said the case was progressing rapidly and that they expected development soon. They theorized that the girl was kidnapped off the street, although they had not completely dismissed the possibility that she left with a man she had just met. It is believed there were no witnesses to the struggle between the girl and her assailant. Police have linked her disappearance with an attack on another woman in the same Point St. Charles area Saturday night. Our investigation is just starting, he said. We're now trying to get an overall view of what happened. Cheryl Roy of 225 Charton Street was attacked. So where's that? See, I think this... What in the hell? Am I not spelling these right? 225 C-H-R-R-O-N. There we go. And it doesn't exist. Why? Unreal, man. Just... Let's get to... Nothing exists in here. It's amazing. It's like every street that I've typed in doesn't exist. What, do you guys change your streets every week over there? Thanks, Billy Juliana.
Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave. Let's get the wave to the goal.
That's right. Get to the goal, and I'll send that exact amount of money in to whatever you guys send in on the goal tonight. I'm sending into Texas EquiSearch. Sharon's mother, Yvonne, said the girl often went to Mariana Pizza to see school friends, but she was very reliable and always called home if she thought she was going to be late. You know, I think what it is, my keyboard's like off to the left, so my hands don't quite work. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Snarky Cinderella. So you're saying Quebec's not part of Canada? Or they just act like they're their own country because they all speak French? I mean, is it? I mean, I'll trust you whatever you say since you're from Canada. Yeah, right. They act like it. Yeah. Prior said both McAleer of 2446 Ride Street and Sharon told her a man had been following them when they were alone or together during the last weeks. Hey, thank you, Kelly Snyder. I've only had 2 hours of sleep since she disappeared, she said. Sharon was a friendly and reliable girl. I bet those were totally related. Following discovery of the body, a family spokesman told the Montreal Star that Sharon's mother was sedated. Isn't that weird? Isn't that crazy, you guys? Remember how they used to sedate everybody? I was thinking, I thought of getting those curved ones, those monitors. It's kind of like if you had 3 of them, it'd be awesome because it would kind of curve around. So at some point this summer coming up, I'm having our entire garage is being remodeled. You know, so for years I've been saving up, and boy, it's man, it's costs money, but for let's see, I would say 12 years. I have taken up this massive portion of our living room. Isn't even big, but what I have is a door. I use a door for a desk with 2 roll-out drawers. I mean, it's pretty awesome because it stands on top. It sits on top of these 2 sort of roll-out drawer things, and it just kind of just takes up the whole living room. I mean, it's just really stupid. So eventually, I'll be able to just move it. Get completely out of this area, and that'll just be a living room to enjoy and sit around and watch a movie or something. And you know, currently it sucked for years and years and years. For 2 of them, that's pretty cheap. Yeah, I have 3 monitors. Well, I do streaming. You probably wouldn't need that for, you know, business. I need one to put staging on. And hey, Norm Scanlon. Thank you, Norm Scanlon and Kelly Snyder and Linda Howell, as in Linda Moulton Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. So that's her right there, whose body was found last night in a. Let's see if that area shows up. That weird. Let me type it in. Longueuil. And it's in Quebec. It looks like. So it's over here. So we're sort of in a field over in this area. So I'll just kind of, you know, just in general, she was found over here. Okay, and it sort of matches what they were saying a little bit ago. We had that street that was over here. Prior has 3 other children, including 12-year-old son and a 14-year-old. I think that they're talking about the mother there. Sharon's mother had asked that the following message be conveyed. Just tell our mother to watch their children and love them. Prior has 3 other children, including a 12-year-old son and a 14-year-old twin daughters. So she has 3 other kids. You know, it's sort of interesting when a parent loses a child but has 3 other kids. It's almost, I mean, they hardly have any time to actually grieve for themselves, but in some ways it's almost good. You know, it's weird. Like they're so busy then trying to take care of their other kids and console them that they don't really have a lot of time. But you kind of need that time to release, but at the same time it's a distraction, and eventually the distraction, you have to release at some point, but it might sort of make it not quite as bad, I think. I don't know. It's trying to visualize how that would be. It seems like when you have kids, a whole bunch of other kids that you gotta be there for, you can't just sort of fall into a depression and sit around and mope, like for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, like I did. I mean, I'm just sitting around, just lost friends and everything. I just didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to curl up in a ball, and my mom, I'm sure, was 10 times worse than that. But we were kids that were older, so she didn't have the distraction. You know what I mean? Like, there weren't the young ones sitting around at the house. They were out in college and so forth. So that wouldn't be the distraction that might work if you had 4 or 5 younger, 2 or 3 other kids at home that were young. If you only had 2, I think it would be wouldn't be quite as good, because you'd have the one and both of your child would be. Yeah, I think it would be just as bad having lost your only child, or if you only had 2. I think if you have 3 or 4, though, then you get more of a distraction, I guess. It's hard to know, because I'd have to ask a parent that lost a child and had 3 more. That's the only way to know. I don't think my mom's situation counts, because we were already older and we weren't at home anymore, so she didn't need to sit around and take care of us or something. Thanks, Mickey Duff. And Daryl Montgomery. Yeah, we're almost there, Yep. And like I said, once we get to the goal, then whatever the goal is at the end of the show, that's what I'm sending into Texas EquiSearch. So if we got up to 500 or whatever, that's what we're sending in. I don't understand why there is a map, someone explain. Because we were just we're going over a case. Did you just show up? Were you stoned, or I don't get it. Hey, these people, man. God, there's crazy people out there. Yeah, I'll just see you later, man. Go be confused somewhere else, okay? Bye-bye. Gosh, Gray was just merely confused. Gee. I don't think so. I wasn't born yesterday. Alright, so now we're on April 3rd. Police sift for facts in brutal. This is the one we just did, I think. 200-pound investigator's note. Police said partly chewed tail. Oh, yeah, we gotta go over this part. Let's see. Near the girl's body, the police found a shirt, tire marks, and a footprint. The shirt, with a size 17 collar and 34-inch sleeves, indicated a man about 6 feet tall. Unless he was like Richard Allen, whose torso is longer than his legs. The depth of the footprint indicated a man weighing about 200 pounds, said police. They believe the shirt was used to bind the girl. Longueuil police said, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that word there, whatever that is. Longueuil police said partly chewed tape was tangled in her hair. They believed it was used to gag her, so that means it was tangled in her hair and she was chewing on it while it was in her mouth. Police believe the man knew the area where the body was dumped. The gate was equipped with padlock, but it was not hooked. He was able to drive across the frozen ground, but the police car sank in the mud. Frozen mud yielded good tire marks and aid in the identification of the car. They believe the assailant picked the field in advance in belief that the body would not be discovered until beekeeping resumed in late spring. Beekeeping resumed in late spring. Sharon probably died Monday afternoon, according to the preliminary autopsy report. Police speculate that she was kept prisoner for 3 days by her assailant. Wow. Investigators note that Sharon had never run away from home, was considered well-behaved and reliable, and was on her way to see school friends and her boyfriend at Marina's restaurant. She left her bus pass and money in her bedroom. But investigators say they won't know what exactly happened to her until they trace her whereabouts following her disappearance. She always called home if she thought she was going to be late, the girl's mother Yvonne said, while the girl was missing. Frank Daly, 35 of Wellington Street, manager of the restaurant where Sharon was headed, described the girl as a very clean, very straight. I've been living in the Point all my life, and I knew the girl quite well. She was like a daughter and a very smart girl. We get a lot of school kids in here, he said. Most restaurants don't want the kids because they make a lot of noise and don't spend a lot of money. Just a second. Gotta do something over here. Hold on. Alright, there we go. But the owner and I have talked it over and decided we don't mind having the kids here. We don't make $1 million off of them, but we don't do too badly either. Sometimes it sounds like a barnyard, but they don't behave too badly because there are boys and girls here together. They come here to yak. They're still coming here, but the girls never walk alone. They come in groups. Police are considering the possibility of a link between the Prior slang and the slang of Norma O'Brien of Chateauguay last summer. 12-year-old Norma was found mutilated and sexually molested in a field not far from her home. Police investigating the slang are expected to meet soon to compare notes. More than 100 Point St. Charles residents and police have spent several days searching for Sharon. Yeah, I always think these pictures are so amazing, but that's her funeral right there. You see these massive snowflakes coming down. It's weird how, don't you just think that they just don't take pictures like they used to? It's pretty bizarre. I mean, look at this guy back here is just on looking. And wouldn't it be interesting if somebody in this picture was the killer, you know? I thought this was... I hope this doesn't offend people again, but listen to this little article in 1975, April 9th. I publicly accept any wagers that unless a miracle happens, neither the inhuman, cold-hearted murders... or neither, so it says neither the inhuman cold-hearted murders of the 2 RCMP officers in Munston nor the bestial murder of Sharron Prior will be hanged. So they won't be executed. Because we must, quote, understand the killers. And anyway, it was not their fault, but society's that provoked them to commit these crimes. I mean, that whoever wrote that was like 30 years ahead of their time, man. See, that may, or Canada was just 30 years before some of our crazy cities, or at least in this area here, right? I mean, this person right here is already saying, hey, man, what the hell, you know. That's exactly what I've been saying over here. Hey, thanks, Annie T. Well, there you go. We at least 300 going to Texas Equisearch tonight. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, well, look at that. Doesn't that amazing? So they're saying they aren't going to execute these killers because we must understand the killers. And anyways, it was not their fault, but societies that provoked them to commit these crimes. Isn't that crazy? And that's exactly how Justin Trudeau thinks. Remember that one time he like gave money back to a terrorist? I mean, what a joke. This guy is just the whole thing. All right, anyways, we're moving on. This is July 28th. Let's see what this one says. Is it right to say you... let's see. Is it right to say, as you did, that there was good police work in the investigation into the murder of Chautauqua girls? But we must remember that there is still a maniac on the loose, the person who murdered Sharron Prior during Easter weekend. I beg parents not to lift all restrictions on their young daughters yet. And now we're May 1976, 1 year later. A tire mark, a footprint, and an unlocked padlock are all Longueville police have to go a year after the still unsolved murder of 16-year-old Sharron Prior. The Point St. Charles teenager was reported missing the night of Saturday, March 29, 1975, after she failed to show up at a restaurant in Wellington Street and Ash Avenue. The restaurant, a hangout for teenagers in the Point, was a 5-minute walk from the girl's home at 445 Congressional Street. That's why she didn't need to bring her her bus pass or anything. 4 days after Sharon's disappearance, a bookkeeper stumbled upon... God, I keep saying bookkeeper because you don't see beekeeper too often. But it's... Anyways, a beekeeper stumbled upon her body in fields 200 feet from Guimond Boulevard. All right, so let me get this boulevard in here again. Hold on a second. Guimondb. Okay, right there. So is it okay? It's right there, and we already had a pin over here. So we don't know what it looked like back in that day. Let's go over to about 2002. Yeah, so maybe it's like right over here on where that golf course is. I'm just going to move it. Something like right there. Probably closer to this area. A doctor summoned to the scene declared the girl had been dead at least 20 hours. Police theorized that the victim had been held captive somewhere before she was dumped in the field. She was beaten about the head and raped, but she was still alive when they dumped her. Oh man, under the trees, said Detective Sergeant J.D. When we examined the body at the scene, we found a branch clutched in her hand. Wow, that's sort of like Debbie Collier, right? 15 feet from the body, police found a good tire track in the snow that appeared to have been made by a new radial tire. Next to the gate post, police found a footprint in the ground. They suspect it was made by a heavy person wearing a size 8.5 shoe. We think the footprint was made while the person was unlocking the padlock, said Dutrasac. The open Yale padlock is a puzzle to homicide investigators, who have questioned the only two people claiming to have key for it. There was no visible signs of force on the lock to indicate it was tampered with. If we find the guy who opened the padlock, I think we'll find the guy who did this, said Dutrasak. The investigator believes more than one person was involved in the murder. The body was found 15 feet from where the tire marks ended. Beside the marks, police found traces of the girl's blood, leading them to believe she was beaten in the car before being carried to where she was found. There was no mud on her shoes. We suspect she was carried by the persons and left there for dead. The girl's clothing was thrown out of the car as it backed out of the bushes. Police admit they are no further ahead in their investigation than they were 2 days after the body was found. 38 persons have been questioned in connection with the murder. In 1979, there's another one. It has been 4 years now since the life of Sharron Kim Prior, a pert, vibrant schoolgirl, came to sudden violent end. And each year, her mother, Yvonne Prior, places the awkwardly constructed poem in the Montreal Star. I saw that. When I was looking her up, every year I kept seeing that same poem. That's kind of weird. Because it shows up, when you do a search. No more crying, no more fears, God wipe, and it has her name next to it each time you find it. Yeah, that's wild. There really is no crying for Sharon these days, but the memory of the shattered death of a beautiful child still pierces the heart of a mother. I still hurt, she says. I think about it often. Sometimes I think it hasn't happened, but it has. It's something I live with and will probably forever. She can talk freely about Sharon, a victim of rape and murder, but the expression on her seemingly tired-looking face betrays an ever-present pain. Her eyes appear listless, and she talks about Sharon probably because she has never discussed the life of her lost child with a newspaper reporter before. Sharon was killed sometime between March 29th and April 1st, 1975, Easter weekend. She turned 16 just a month before on February 9th. The news stories published in the newspaper at the time gave the cold facts of the gruesome event. Sharon had left her home to meet some friends at a pizza shop hangout at Wellington and Congressional Street in Point St. Charles on the evening of Saturday, March 29th, the evening of Easter Sunday, and never reached her destination. It was just a short walk, but it became an eternity for Sharon, her mother, her family. The girl's body, beaten about the head, was discovered 4 days later in a field in Longueuil on the South Shore. The newspaper stories contained the running accounts of the developing situation at the time, but no one spoke to Mrs. Prior about Sharon. Nobody came around. Everything that was in the newspaper about Sharon came from the police or maybe from somebody who lived around here. But nothing real personal was printed about Sharon, said the mother. Miss Prior talks about her daughter, the oldest of 3 at the time, wanted to become a veterinarian because of her love for animals, especially stray ones. She talks about how Sharon kept her room filled with science books and little experiments, how orderly and exacting she was in keeping with her scientific interests. Sharon's room was on top floor of an aging 3-story building, of which the Priors occupied the top 2. The ceiling in the room is peeling badly, and it leaks in a storage room now, and Sharon's books and mini experiments share the small space with the bicycle boxes and old blankets. The door is always locked. There are many cracks in the walls of the house, and the floors creak. But Mrs. Prior says she will remain in the 8-room home
the family is occupied for 8 years because the building owner has promised to renovate and repaint it. He must be serious, she says, because workmen here recently to take measurements. So there's workers that came in to do measurements. With that will probably come an increase of the $75 a month rent the family now pays. Sharon is still very much a presence for Miss Prior. She talks of her character, personality, dreams, and activities with halting tones which at times leave the listener uneasy. The words come deliberately, carefully, controlled. This is her strength. How to live with the death by murder of a child. I guess the reason I put the in memoriam ads in the newspaper is that I keep hoping that maybe somebody will remember something, she says, almost resigned to their daughter's killer or killers may never be caught. But I guess this may be hoping for too much. It is something the guilty one has to live with too. Maybe someday he will give himself up. Maybe I am obsessed with this, but this is how I feel, and as far as I know, I probably keep on placing this type of remembrance year after year. Mrs. Prior was divorced 11 years ago. The years and the travails of having raised 4 healthy children, Sharon's twin daughters, Maureen and Doreen, now 18, and son George, now 15, are etched in her face. Perhaps it was the advent of another Easter weekend, a poignant reminder of a terrible event. I'm trying to hit my horn to wake you guys up. Yeah, so Sharon was grade 10 student at Verdun High School. She had previously attended Montreal High School but switched after 2 years. Every mother likes to believe that her daughter is something very special, that she's the type that lights up a room when she comes in, or that she is popular with many kids her own age, that she is bright and has bright future, Miss Prior continues. Hey, thanks, brown-eyed girl. Da-da-da. The police have been extremely hard-working from the very beginning, she says, but the inevitable feeling that perhaps something more could have been done continues to gnaw at her. She notes, for example, that from the outset, police might have pressed her contentions that Sharon and her boyfriend had been followed in the 2 weeks prior to the girl's death. They could have composed a sketch of something because the man was seen, but he trails off as if to suggest the point is moot. So, I mean, she was followed, apparently. Then in 2004, so that's way, way later, Yvonne Prior holds a photograph of her daughter, so, man, she's hanging in there, who was raped and killed more than 29 years ago. Tip receives probe of 2004. 16-year-old Sharron Prior left for Montreal area home on March 29, 1975 to meet friends at a pizzeria. Now, after more than 29 years, police may have finally unraveled part of the twisted mystery. Acting on a tip, police searched a garage behind an apartment building in the city's southwest corner, hoping to discover DNA evidence that may identify Sharon's killer. Police said they believe Sharon may have been in the garage, just streets from where she had lived between March 29th and April 1st. It kind of makes sense because she only had a short walk and she disappeared without even making it to the... now, we'll have to check this out. For the Prior family seeking answers for nearly 3 decades, the news has been a godsend. This is the day I've been waiting for 29 years, said Sharon's mother, Yvonne Prior, struggling to fight back tears. I've never lost hope that police will one day find the person responsible. The coroner's report, completed just days after her body was discovered in April 1975, methodically spells out the horror that led to Sharon's death. The girl was raped
beaten repeatedly and suffocated on her own blood, the coroner concluded. Police theorized at the time she had been captive elsewhere. She was raped, beaten repeatedly, and suffocated on her own blood. Wow. Police theorized that at the time she had been held captive elsewhere, then dumped under trees in the field while she was still alive. They found her clutching a branch. They also discovered tire tracks in the snow near her body, a man's shirt, and a footprint. Despite those apparent clues, the case stymied police. During the early days of the investigation, there were reports that police with guns drawn raided a Satin Choice Bikers gang hangout. Maureen Prior was 14 when her big sister was killed, said she would like nothing more than to look Sharon's killer in the eyes. I want to know who he is, or who it is, she said. I want to know who, what, when, and where. Yeah. So that was 2004. And then there's a few of them from that time. Investigators seek traces of blood. Yep, we just went over that. Another one. Arrest in... it's over here. DNA samples found in this article. Hey, welcome, Lady Latlaktuka. Let's see. Longville police have collected 3 DNA samples from a search of Point St. Charles garage for clues in the killing of Sharron Prior in 1975. The 16-year-old disappeared on March 29th of that year on her way to a restaurant. Her body was discovered 3 days later in a Longville field. She had been raped and beaten. Police say they believe Sharon may have been held captive in the Favard Street garage, a short distance from her home, before she was killed. All right, then 2019. Man, this is just Windows 11, man, with the little windows that pop out. Yeah. Let's see, 9 murders. See, this is interesting too, because then I was wondering about these others. So families of 9 murdered or missing local women demand inquiries. But here's the part that was interesting. The families of 8 women who disappeared and were killed between 1975 and 1981. So that's, is this a serial killer then? Have been demanding a public inquiry into their loved ones' cases and other cold cases because they say Quebec's police forces routinely destroy or lose evidence in murder cases, leaving families in the dark about where the investigations stand. The family of Marilyn Bergeron, who disappeared in 2008, has recently joined the fight. I do not want this horrible incompetence to be experienced by other families in the future, said Yvonne Prior, whose then 16-year-old daughter, Sharron Prior, disappeared from the Montreal Point Street, Charleston neighborhood on March 29, 1975. So the mother's still alive in 2019 here. Then 2022, it just says, Sharon Kim Prior was born February 9, 1959, to mom Yvonne and dad George. She would later welcome several younger siblings, including a foster brother. Sharon grew up in Point St. Charles, sometimes spelled Point St. Charles with an E, a neighborhood in Montreal, Quebec, in Canada. Loved ones said she had a radiant smile and the people loved being around her. Sharon was athletic and, like many Canadians, enjoyed playing hockey. Saturday, March 29, 1975, was the day before Easter. Around 7:15 that evening, 16-year-old Sharon left her house to meet some friends at a local pizza parlor. When she wasn't home by 1 a.m., Yvonne Prior got worried. Her daughter was usually home by that time and always called if she was going to be late. The search for Sharon began right away. 3 days later, on April 1st, Sharon's body was found in a field in Longville, about 12 kilometers from Point Charles. She'd been beaten, raped, and strangled, and later, of which likely caused her death, her body had been dragged under a tree, and she still had a tree branch in her hand. Her jeans and her underwear were found near her body, the latter hanging from a branch. There was tape in her hair that had presumably been put over her mouth as a gag because she had chewed on it. Police also found a padlock, shirt, tire marks, and footprint nearby. The padlock was open, but there was no signs of force. The shirt was worn by someone about 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and police believe it was also used to tie Sharon up. The footprint was made by someone who wore about size 8.5 shoe. Sharon had been dead for about a day when her body was found. Police believe she'd been held captive, then dragged to the scene and left there while she was still alive. But other than this evidence, there wasn't much to go on. They interviewed 38 people.
Me every night. You are awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Relady Jones. Yeah. The investigation stalled and was later reopened in the early 2000s. In 2004, police got a tip that led them to a garage behind an apartment building not too far from Sharon's old house. About 24 officers searched the garage for 15 hours looking for evidence that Sharon had been there at some point. DNA samples were sent off for results, but ultimately found no matches. 70 potential suspects have been looked into, but as of March 2022, no arrests have been made. So what happened to Sharron Prior? Police believe there are at least 2 people involved in her murder. I can never find a specific reason why they believe this, but author Alice, so this is somebody's, like, they're just writing it. Let's just see what it says. There also speculation that Sharon's killer or killers knew the area well. The owner of the field Sharon was found in only discovered her remains when he realized the gate leading to the field was open. If it hadn't been for this, she likely wouldn't have been found until later in the spring. Did Sharon's killer leave her in a place where they thought she wouldn't be found for months, perhaps hoping that much of the evidence would have decayed? Whatever happened to Sharon's murder has gone unsolved for almost 47 years. Her loved ones hope that advanced DNA technology or someone coming forward with previous withheld information will one day solve the case. Well, isn't that amazing? Because here we go. A body of suspect in 1975 Montreal teen killing exhumed in West Virginia, for God's sakes. The body of a suspect in the unsolved 1975 Montreal killing of 16-year-old Sharron Prior had been exhumed in West Virginia after DNA samples from the crime scene were matched to his family name. Franklin Romine, an American from West Virginia, lived in Montreal at the time of the murder and is the primary suspect in the case. Jeez, that is so freaking amazing. Boom chakalaka! All right, anyways, let's do the let's put this guy's name in here. That's why we do what we do, you guys. That's why you have a $60,000 DNA fund. So anyways, let's see what happens right what about years? How about 1970 to 1995? Franklin Romine. Look at that. Ontario. God, is that his name? That's him? What did he say? Oh, hold on. Let me get the other article. What was his name? Franklin Romine. Okay. Well, God, that's got to be the same person here, though. Franklin Maywood Romine, of no fixed address, who escaped from the Birch Industrial Farm here August 26, 1969 today, was sentenced to 6 months for escaping custody. Romine was serving 2 6-month terms for conviction of theft charges and had been in minimum security institution only 1 day when he made a bolt for freedom. He was arrested in Montreal in June. I guarantee you that's the same person. Returned to Brantford during the weekend. lot. The car was owned by... that's something different, I think. But anyways, that's pretty crazy. So there he is, there. And then, so that was November 10th. Who's this guy then? Thieves smash brick wall, take 3,000 worth of loot. The car was owned by Hardy Isaac, let's see, Franklin Maywood Romine of no fixed address was brought from Montreal Monday where he was arrested on a warrant charging him with escaping. Okay, that's the same one. What about this one? Actually, the way to do it, you put quotes in the front and back, and then it only... So a good way to do this, if you're ever using newspapers.com, is you put quotes around it, so it has to be in that order, or they has to be together, right? So then you... But then you also put like January 1970, right? Then when you enter that, you might not see a damn thing, but if you click over here, well, look at that. There's one in November of January 1970, and I think that's the same. That might be the same article. Yeah, so there's that one. So you see it. It's right there. You click on that and see how it sort of highlights the month that it has it in. Then you go down to 1971, for example, and you know these June and July have that guy's name in it. So if you click on this one, this should be that person, unless there just happens to be. So in this case, there's a Frank and then a Romine just below it. So that one doesn't work. Maybe this June one will. You click on that like this. So that looks like the same guy, because that looks like Maynard. So this one is driving while intoxicated, Franklin M. Romine, Huntington, West Virginia this time. So we already know he's from there, so that's definitely the same guy. $200 and cost 90 days in county jail. Okay. So you got that. I'm actually going to go back then to... Well, let's go. If I click on this, it should actually have prior years too. So I'm going to go to 1966. Let's see if that's the same guy. And Franklin, no, I think that's not the same. Looks like there's a cut in the 66, 67. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Franklin, and this is Mississippi. Let's see what it says. No, that person's Raleigh Franklin Romine. So that's not him. And maybe October 67. Forget it. 68. The 3rd. No. And 69. Man, how cool is this though, right? I mean, that's exactly... That is so amazing. Franklin Romine, this is 1969, so this is another one of his charges. This is in Canada. Franklin Romine was sentenced to 6 months. This is the one he escaped from. Judge Suave noted the man had a record dating back to 1963. So now we might as well go back to 63 to see if he shows up, and there's one in November there. And that one says Gilbert Franklin Romine. So maybe 64 is when he made the paper. Actually, hold on. Yeah, so 64, there was a March 1. That's not him. February 5th. That's not him. All right, now I'm going to switch forward to all the way where we were, like 75. On Monday, Mrs. Lowry and her sister, their brother, this is in, where is this? Oklahoma. Son Franklin Romine. I mean, that's just a really unusual name, so I can't imagine there being a bunch of them. I'm just looking around for a little bit. I mean, it's what I do. I mean, that's why it takes a long time to find all the stuff that I find. But, you know, when I do these shows, I have to spend all this time looking for things that are... And then I go on these little tangents if I can find something that is not really what you're reading in the paper. There's these other things. Alright, after this one I'm just going to switch. Alright. So back to here. Franklin Romine, an American from West Virginia, lived in Montreal at the time of the murder and is the primary suspect. Prior's mother, Yvonne Prior, never stopped looking for answers over the last 48 years, and the family legal counsel, Mark Bellemere, said it must be the best day she's had in God, no doubt, man, in the last half century. Finally got justice for her eldest child who died all those years ago. Never had a normal life after that. Prior was last seen March 29, 1975, when she left her family home in Point St. Charles to meet up with friends at a nearby pizza parlor. She never showed up. Her body was found 3 days later in Longueuil. An autopsy revealed she had been raped and beaten to death. A man's t-shirt had been used to restrain her, and tire tracks were found at the crime scene. Around the same time Prior disappeared, a 22-year-old woman was the victim of attempted kidnapping at knife point on the same street where Prior was last seen. I think we talked about that earlier. The woman described her assailant as a tall, 28-year-old English-speaking white male with blue eyes, brown hair, and a mustache. DNA testing found a match. During the court proceedings in West Virginia to have Romine's body exhumed, the Longueuil police detectives on the case, Eric Rassicot, testified last month that DNA samples from the crime scene, including the t-shirt, had been sent to a laboratory in the state in 2019. In June of 2022, the DNA samples sent to Quebec's forensic laboratory. That's interesting because that's just 3 months after that article we just read from 2022 that wondered about DNA. Rassicot said local databases showed Franklin Romine had 2 addresses in Montreal and Longueuil in the 70s. Though Romine had 3 brothers, none of them had lived in Montreal. A vehicle registered under Romine's name in Montreal was compatible with tire tracks found at the crime scene. Romine had an extensive American criminal record and had encounters with Montreal police. We just read those. In December of 2022, Longueuil police received DNA samples from Romine's 2 living brothers, who consensually gave them to West Virginia police. Both brothers said they believed their brother had committed the murder. Family photos showed Romine as a tall man with a reddish-brown hair and mustache. Romine died in Canada in the early 80s and was buried in West Virginia. We have very strong reason to believe that Mr. Romine is the person in this file, according to the fact that he was living in Montreal when the crime occurred. He was also fitting the description that the witness gave us and had an extensive criminal record. The results comparing the DNA found at the crime scene and the exhumed remains will take us up to 3 weeks to be released. We want the family to know we never gave up and we're so close to answers. Alright, so we got that one, and there was another. That's a picture of him right there. God, that looks just like this. Is that the sketch they had? Man, it's perfect. Look at that sketch. It just looks just like the guy. See that? I mean, other than the mustache, but... So apparently that's him. There's his grave. August 20. I wonder how he died. That'd be kind of an interesting... Maybe we can... let's see if we can... 1982, right? wonder if it was just quiet. I mean, there's no other matches for that name during that time frame. August 20th, 1982. Huh. Well. Did I do that right? Yeah, Franklin Romine, right? Franklin Maywood Romine. Weird. Oh, that's her right there? That's some of her clothing, and I think she's right there by a tree, clutching a tree. Can't really see it very well, but I think I can kind of see it. It looks like her, like that's her body, and then her legs are up in the air maybe and bent. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's it or not. I can't tell. It's too blurry.
Out of jail before his next escape in 1967. 2 years.
And then they see that he beat and raped.
Sorcea hadn't heard of the case that took place so long ago and so many miles away. That all changed the day he learned Canadian cold case detectives believed her killer was buried not far from where he grew up in Putnam County.
There's a family guy.
It looks just like him, Zozo. You're always trying to be contradictory. Got the same haircut, everything. He just doesn't have the scruffy part on there.
Killed and raped a girl. You know, we're gonna
God, come on.
help
Jesus.
our friends in Canada, and we're gonna, you know, be on the team and get it done.
In March, Sorcea petitioned the Putnam County Circuit Court to find out if the man buried in a rural cemetery in
Now, by the way, look at this side story over here. 13-year-old Florida girl punches shark after bite left with 19 stitches. Jesus. It's crazy.
Fraziers Bottom could really be the man who brutally killed Sharon. His name was Franklin Maywood Romine. The case that Longueuil police in Canada had built against him, a man that had been dead for 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, look right there. See that the way his hair is all frazzled? There's the sketch right over there. The nose is even right. Maybe at that time he had a little bit more hair on there too, on his chin. But man, that's a really good one.
Was remarkable.
What's amazing about the case is we
And
found.
plus, that's a weird grainy image of the real one, so you don't know what the coloring was.
This guy, and he probably never gave a DNA sample in his life.
In the decades of investigation and count.
It's right there, look. So when you look at that, and he's got the scraggly hair and then the nose, this hair part here, he probably could have just shaved it off after that. So you just, other than that, it's pretty good.
Was tips, suspects, and interviews. Canadian detectives say Romine's name had never come up until last year when a DNA profile that was removed from that blue t-shirt and Sharon's underwear and pants made it possible to target the last name of the suspect.
Then they got the name Romine. So then they just started looking at their criminal records. Well, they see this guy being very active in Canada and Montreal in the 70s, right? Violent activity, in and out of jail, and then
that's crazy.
Then they start looking at the West Virginia on the street. He was probably incarcerated half the time, and then he'd be on the street, and then he'd go back to jail.
In 1974, deputies in Wood County said he broke into a home and raped a woman in Parkersburg. He was released on bond and...
You know, let me try one other place. This family... Virginia has really, like, no... coverage out there of in the newspapers. But let me try this one. What was it, West Virginia? Yeah. Nope. I don't even have them listed in here. It's crazy. Nothing at all.
Fled to Canada. Sharron Prior would be raped and killed a year later.
We have a window in his freedom corresponding to the death of the child in Canada.
He'd eventually be extradited back to West Virginia and convicted of the Parkersburg attack. After serving his prison time, he was back in Canada by 1982, the same year he died at the age of 36. How he died remains a mystery. Detectives haven't been able to find a death certificate. His body was returned to his mother in West Virginia, where his family dug his grave, here at the Pine Grove.
Well, the family dug it.
Cemetery.
They probably knew. They didn't want anybody to know he was even buried.
Before the court is the petition of the state of West Virginia in the matter of Franklin Maywood Romine, deceased.
But it was the case that started in Canada, and around the same time that Sharon would have been walking to that piece. Longville Police Detective Eric Rassicott was ready to lay the case on the table and on the record for the first time in hopes Judge Philip Stowers would agree it was the only way to close the case.
We can speculate all day on it, but we won't know the answer until we open the grave to see the remains.
The detective testified for nearly an hour about the facts of the case and about how a 22-year-old woman named Cheryl Roy was nearly abducted at knife point in the same area and around the same time that Sharon would have been walking to that pizzeria.
The suspect told her in English not to scream and to follow him. He also told her when she fights back, you bitch, you're coming with me. So that is an important fact since the official language in Montreal was and still is French.
The woman told police that the English-speaking man was white, in his late 20s, about 6'2", 200 pounds, with brown hair, a mustache, and a blue ski coat. The detective said that description matched Romine's at the time.
Yeah, see? How about that?
The detective said,
I think that's pretty good. I mean, look at the nose and everything. It's exactly the right nose. The only part that's not good is he must have shaved. In this picture, he doesn't have the... If you put a beard on this picture, it'd be really close. The hair and everything like that. I know, Zozo, we all know that you're one of the only people that can't see it, okay? It's probably more likely just you like to be the contrarian, okay?
That description matched Romine's at the time, along with a footprint found at the crime scene that would have matched his shoe size. Tire marks were also found in the snow-covered field, and they determined the type of tire would have only been used on 37 models at the time. One of them was a Wrangler, the same type of car Romine had bought from a woman who lived in Sharon's neighborhood.
Very interesting, and I bring your attention to the fact that this address is only 2 blocks away from Sharon's house.
Then the bombshell. There was more damning evidence pointing to Romine, and science backed it up. Both of his brothers had voluntarily given DNA samples to police. The detective said showed their samples.
I wonder if they knew a long time ago that their brother did this.
From the crime scene were 140 million times more likely to come from their brother than any other random.
We don't want to cause any
information.
Virginia team.
Investigation. They try to help us.
Okay. Let's see. I have this one shorter video here. Let's see.
An Ontario, Virginia cemetery, 1,300 kilometers away.
It was really a special moment.
Virginia cemetery.
Clothing has led investigation case. It involves the disappearance and murder of a 16-year-old girl. DNA evidence left on her clothing has led investigators to a suspect south of the border with a long criminal record. CTV's Vanessa Lee has the story.
This is where Quebec investigators are close to solving a murder that has
It's
haunted
him,
them for nearly
Jennifer.
half a century.
It's him.
At West
Okay, don't
Virginia
worry about it.
Cemetery, 1,300 kilometers away.
It was really a special moment.
We already went
I
through
had
it,
thoughts for the
Jennifer.
family who had been waiting for nearly 48 years.
Authorities exhumed the body of Franklin Romine after DNA evidence linked him to the death of 16-year-old Sharron Prior. The teenager was supposed to meet friends at a Montreal pizzeria on March 29, 1975, but never showed up. Police later found her body in a field. She had been beaten and raped. The killing shook the community and eventually turned into one of Quebec's most high-profile cold cases. Police looked at more than 100 suspects but never made an arrest. They say new investigative techniques led them to Romine, an American who died 7 years after the murder.
He was fitting the description that the witness gave in 1975. He also had the witness gave
After the murder.
He was fitting the description
Yeah,
that
he was
the
only
witness gave
36.
in 1975. He also had the very extensive criminal record of violent crime, also for a sexual assault.
Romine's family objected to the exhumation as Longueuil police
They objected? Screw you. God, you guys are...
requested a court order testifying to the exhumation.
Sexual assault.
Romine's family objected to the exhumation.
They objected to the exhumation, yet the family, the brothers, gave DNA, hoping to help. Well, yeah, give me a break.
As Longueuil police requested a court order testifying the
Not
killer
sure that
left
makes
his
sense.
DNA on Prior's clothing.
To confirm once and for all that he is the killer of Sharron Prior. He only want to ease the pain of the victim's family.
It's hard to imagine Yvonne Prior's pain.
Where is my daughter?
For decades, her life has been consumed by the search for answers.
Amputation of my soul. That's all I can say. It was when that happened with my daughter, I just fell apart.
Yvonne Prior is now 85 years old.
Guess it didn't
It's
help to have
expected the
those other
case will
kids.
be closed when lab results are back within the next couple of weeks.
I was just wondering if that
Vanessa
worked.
Lee, CTV News, Montreal.
Wow. That's awesome, you guys. Boom! And that's what the DNA is for. So we got another, what long have we been here? 36 minutes. And whatever you guys put in on the goal up there, I'm donating to Texas EquiSearch the exact amount of whatever that is up on the goal there. I mean, I'll round it up to the nearest, $10 or something. So like right now it would be $3.40. All right, so there you go, everybody. That's your, if you feel like you want to help support the channel and, we've already given $1,500 tonight to Rain and, what's the other one? NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. All right. Awesome. What was that? Hold on, I'm trying to find something. And by the way, I don't have anything else. So if you guys have any questions or anything you want to ask, or that'd be great. Yeah, no problem, Daryl. I lost the music. Well, I can just make it a shorter night. How about that? So I'll go ahead and I'll do 350. All right, hold on. Okay, let me see if I can just click on that button and not have to fill anything out. Okay, there we go. Oops. Oh, you got 2 coffee mugs like you told her? All right. All right, there we go. We just did 350 to Texas EquiSearch, which is actually more than we have in there. So we'll add that to the number. Would have thought people would have wanted to build that up, but some nights it just doesn't happen, you guys. It just doesn't happen. Let's see. Got to go back in and so now that's 600. And then Texas EquiSearch is now 2850. Got that. And this year there we go. Okay, so we are at $148,600 since January 2020. This year, $21,850. Buddy Jeff Safara, you did $4,500 for the DNA fund over the years. Then we also have what we got. Well, I'll just tell you what we've done. So in 2020, we did 22,000. 2021, 42,500. 2022, 62,250. And this year we're at 21,850 so far. We still got the end of the month coming up. And so far this year we've done Black and Missing 1,000, Indigenous Vision 500. Probably have to give them more soon. Wounded Warriors, gotta miss the number. DNA 8,500, NICMEC 3,000, Rain 3,500, Innocence Project 1,500, Texas EquiSearch 2,850. Again, Black and Missing 1,000, Indigenous Vision 500, Wounded Warriors 1,500, and so that's this year. So we're actually making a difference. So that's cool, and you guys are also helping support my channel. Hey, thanks, Linky Tour. Appreciate it. So I don't know. I think I'll just make it a shorter night tonight, you guys. I appreciate you being here, and pretty amazing stories. 2 different cold cases that are look like they're heading. One of them definitely is solved. As a matter of fact, I would say it's a certainty that Sharron Prior's is solved. Now, whether or not Ylva Hagner, her case is solved, it seems like it's just about to be, and it sort of sounds like they're on the right track. Like when she was working late at work and then she's found just down the road, it's somebody right there. So it sounds like they're on the right track there. Well, did you find the show interesting? And we'll be doing Jodi Arias day number 22 tomorrow. The second day, Juan Martinez is on the stand, not on the stand, but questioning Jodi, who's on the stand. Definitely pretty entertaining for sure. For those of you watching that, do you guys find it entertaining and interesting? That are out there? And there's Lanky Tor. He was unethical I mean, I don't like Juan Martinez. I think he's entertaining, but I think he's a pile of crap. I mean, he is, he's just not very unethical person the way he completely changed the sequencing on purpose in that case. Like he changed it and it was a conspiracy to do so, where he has to have his medical examiner say, I don't remember. I don't, what's funny is Juan Martinez always says to Jody, do you have a memory problem? Do you have a memory problem? I always thought it would have been great when Nurmi gets to talk to the medical examiner later if he had said, do you have a memory problem, sir? That would have got a big laugh, and it would be a great point. Because Kevin Horn doesn't remember shit. I mean, are you gonna does anybody believe that he doesn't remember ever speaking to the head detective in one of the biggest cases they've ever had over there? He goes, I don't remember ever talking to him. Oh, yeah, right, because if you remember talking to him, then you'd have to say that Flores is completely full of crap, but instead, you just pretend that you don't remember ever talking to him. I don't remember. Oh, and then it was that's the part that really just drives me nuts. But I guess he was sexually, he had harassment going on with his coworkers, and he actually been brought up on charges for his behavior multiple times in court. So while he's entertaining and fun to watch, he's just not a good person, So that's just the reality of it. All right, everybody, thank you very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. You call BS on what story, Daphne? What story do you call BS on? Go ahead. Somebody always has to jump in at the end there. What is it? What do you call BS on, Daphne? Which story? The one she's telling or something else? Thanks, Junipers, Tarot, and Magic. You'll be sending ideas for what? Don't need them. Let's see. I'll be sending ideas? What? Yeah. See, there's people that think Juan Martinez was absolutely like a god. They even drew pictures of him as being a deity floating up in the air with Travis looking down together on the jury. Okay, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I already have my own cases that I look up, Let's see. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what Daphne was talking about, but she never followed up on it. She said, I call BS on that story. Which one? Yeah, I mean, he sent me ones before, but you don't need to spend all your days sending me stuff and everything. Gunshot first. Why would Jody waste so much time? Yeah, right. It's obvious that gunshot was first. There's people that just can't let it go, though, right? Oh, okay. All right, Daphne. How did you get that one character in there, by the way? Well, what story do you got, John Dunn, that's for Memorial Day? Is it a cold case? Let's see. I think I've done Yates. Pretty sure. Yeah, Robert Lee Yates. Yeah, I did that. Yep, Walla Walla. I already did that case. Fort Drum. Here's where his home was, where he was arrested. And then I think, yeah, so Yates. Yeah. I can't remember. Definitely have them right here, though. Yeah, and then all of these. Yeah, there you go. So Yates had Patrick Allen. I mean, it was a massive. This is one of our serial killer Sundays. Stacy Elizabeth Hahn, Shannon, Renee Zelinsky. Now, you can't see it, but if I was showing you the monitor over here, see there's Robert Lee Yates right there. And that's where Yates lived himself in these various places. And then from 1975 all the way to 1998, where Connie LaFontaine Ellis. So, yeah, we did all those. There's very few cases that people can even... MIA, Vietnam, Fierce Combat, I saw right. Okay. Well, what was the case that you might send me, John Dunn? Yeah, Skunday, Serial Killer Sunday. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that one a couple weeks back. Zozo. I think was that with Melissa Pesky? Is that right? that one's weird. And I did so much stuff on that one. I was all over that case. Remember I had that lady have a 30-minute interview? Yeah, I think that's a good idea, man. I got to go get that interview and pull that back out of a box, wherever the hell that thing is. It might even be on the internet, but it's like a 30-minute interview with a friend of Melissa Pesky who said that she told her that if she's ever shot, it was her husband who did it. And she was actually leaving him on that very night, driving down a highway, and... Yeah, I said Melissa Pesky. Yeah. So they're driving down a highway, and she's driving with her kids, leaving her husband, and a bullet comes right through the side of the head. Huh? What are you talking about, Norm? What did she do this time that was so phenomenal? God, you guys are crazy people. And why haven't they charged the ex-wife of the Vertigan Microsoft? I don't know. Yeah, she's definitely part of it. Yep. Good night, Daryl. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting one, for sure. I think it was him that drove right next to her and shot her right through her driver's side window. He was a military person, and I think he shot her rolled down his passenger window, steadied a pistol, and just shot her right through the driver window, or somebody else that he knew did it. There's almost no chance that somebody could hit her right in the head sideways from a side shot. From the rear, it'd be sort of easy while they're going down the highway from a bridge for a good shot. Yeah. No, I don't know if it was airtight. He just said remember that he was moving around somewhere. I don't know. I'd have to pull all that stuff back out. I don't think it was airtight. He said he was sleeping or something, and who knows what he was doing. Oh, yeah? Nice. You're crazy, Norm. You know that? Alright. Okay, everybody. Alright, thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, ya. Just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
All right, everybody.
Oh, wait. Forgot to read the thank you to everybody. Thank you to Travel and Teresa, Robin, Lori Akers, Circa Then, Junipers, Tara and Magic, Lisa L, Danielle, Junipers, Tara and Magic, Your Gypsy, Katie Lucas, Wendy Johnson, Danielle, Christy Kazi, Tawny Lee, Christy Kazi, Travel and Teresa with a cat eye, Junipers, Tara and Magic, Gloria Vitari, Danielle, Renee H, Mag with a cat eye, glad she's feeling better, Gwendolyn B, Billy Juliana, Snarky Cinderella, Linda Howe, Kelly Snyder, Norm Scanlon, Mickey Duff, Daryl Montgomery, Annie, let's see, what else? Brown Eyed Girl, Relaney Jones, John Dunn, Lanky Tor, and Daphne. All right, there you go. Thanks, everybody.